I'm Ashley.
And I'm Amber.
We're identical twin sisters from Southern California.
While we may look exactly alike,
Sometimes we think that's all we have in common.
we invite you to grab a cup of coffee or a glass of wine and hang out with us for a little bit.
This is Hashtag Twin Life Podcast. Hello.
Hello.
Hi, Twin. How are you?
I'm doing well. How are you, Twin?
I am doing good. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Hashtag Twin Life Podcast. I am one of your hosts, Ashley, and over there is my twin, Amber. Yes. Thank you guys so much for listening. If you haven't already, we will give you a moment here to subscribe to the podcast and feel free to share it with all of your friends and anybody you think will love to listen to an episode of our show. We're really enjoying this third season so far. So yeah. But let's go ahead and just we'll do our check-in here. So how has your week been going, Twin?
Good. It was, kind of a long work week, but this weekend we went to the fair, like kind of spontaneously. It was like, or semi-spontaneously. On Friday, he was like, the fair starts this weekend. The Indiana State Fair started this weekend, and so we went and checked that out this weekend on yesterday, and it just seemed like it was so big. And even after we left, we didn't realize that we hadn't seen all the things, like, because it was just so big. It was at their deaf college here in Indiana. It's their old campus, and they turned it into the fairgrounds. So the fair they've been doing the Indiana State Fair for like 63 years, and they had everything from like, can you hear Landon?
Yes, I can.
Okay. They have everything from like goat yoga, which I didn't do, but I saw a friend of mine posted on her Instagram that she did goat yoga. To like, Landon got to see cows. They had like, I guess, a cow show or something, competition. Then they of course have their regular like vendors and stuff, but then they had a ton of food.
Wow.
So Blake and I loved trying like all the horrible things that you shouldn't eat stuff, but we told ourselves before we got there, like, okay, instead of each of us getting one of whatever we get, we know we're going to want to try a bunch of different stuff, so let's just get one and we will share. So that was the kind of like rule we tried to keep while we were there, where it's just like we got one of something and then we just shared it.
You just split it.
Yeah, and then Landon actually did ride some rides, which was exciting.
I saw that.
Yeah, there were some that he was pretty nervous on. I liked the fact that we could ride them. At first, we weren't sure he was going to be able to ride any because the signs say, like, you see all these signs that say 42 inches. Well, Landon's only 36 inches tall. So we were like, oh my gosh, he's not going to get to ride anything. But it actually says you have to be at least 42 inches to ride it by yourself on some of them.
Oh,
and then
okay.
it says
so
you have to be between, and then you can't be over 42 inches. Like if you're like, it's basically like some of them, the max was 42 inches. So some of me had to ride by himself. But most of them we were able to ride with him. So we did that. And Blake and I didn't ride any rides. I mean, we went to the San Diego Fair for, I think it was my 30th birthday, I think it was my 30th birthday. We went to the San Diego Fair. And so Blake and I were able to have actually had that experience. We did the Ferris wheel. We did we rode rides and stuff. And this time we couldn't do that, obviously, because we had Landon. So we kind of enjoyed the kiddie part of it, and he had a blast. So it was really fun. So I think it's something we're going to do again. And then coming up here in the fall, we're going to actually get to go to the apple orchard and get to enjoy that. And so I'm liking how we started to add kind of all these traditions in that I think we're going to try to keep up every year and just do them as like a kind of experience every year that we do as a family. So it's one down, one in the books. Yeah, it was fun. How's your week with
awesome.
Just you and the bean?
Yeah, so we made it through week one. I was telling another mom.
Has it ever been just you and the bean?
I mean, not since he was like under one. Not even then, because I had Christian. So I don't think I've ever had to do 100% all the things solo parenting stuff by myself. So
yeah.
It's actually, I was thinking about it today. I was like, now that he's in school, it does make it like a bit easier because I could do like all the pickup, all the drop off work and then whatever. And like, yeah, it's super tiring. and stuff, but it's actually pretty nice because it's like it's easier than I thought it was going to be, just because he's not here all day long, you know. The only part that is tough is like I literally go to work, like I literally drop him off and then rush to work and then rush out of work to go get him from school. So that's a little bit tough and a little bit exhausting. But yeah, I was talking to another mom today or whatever, and she was just like, how much longer is Derek gone? When does he come back? I was like, oh, he comes back next week. She's like, wait a minute, next week, like next Sunday? And I was like, yeah. She's like, he's been gone all week. I'm like, I know. She's like, oh my gosh, 2 weeks? I was like, yeah, 2 whole weeks. So she's like, oh wow. And I'm like, yeah. And you know, there's definitely like, I'm not going to say that like, you know, it's so hard for me, because there's definitely a lot of people, especially in San Diego, moms that are like military and Navy spouse, have Navy, like their spouse in the Navy or whatever, and they leave for like
months.
6 months. Yeah, they leave for months, like half a year, right? And they have multiple kids they have to get to things and whatever. So obviously it's not that hard, but like it's not hard in comparison, but when you're not used to it, it can be tough. So, but I'm definitely happy that like he gets to go to school. This week will be a little bit easier because for some reason they decided that the whole first week of school and the like 10 days, so the first 8 days, the first 8 days of school, they decided that for some reason they needed to have the kids leave school at 1, or the kindergarteners. For some
Weird.
reason, I don't know. I guess maybe it's like a warm up the students type of thing, because I guess not all the kids have been going to school all day. So
Right.
they wanted to try to like warm them up, I guess. Not just like start them out the gate. But to me it's not even that. It's weird to me because would only be like 1 more hour and a half. They would normally get out, I think, at like 2:30. So I'm like, and it's just slightly inconvenient for me because I've been teaching the 9 and the noon classes, and the 12 o'clock class is over at 12:45. Well, if I have to be to get Phoenix at 1, like I can't, it doesn't give me, like I can't be there, like I've tried to leave, you know, at 12:50 or whatever, and I'm late. So I'm like, I have to leave at 12:45, and usually there's like 3 or 4 more minutes left of the workout. But if I wait 3 or 4 more minutes, I'm late to pick him up from school. So it's like super annoying. Like even if he got out at 1:15, it would be better. So it was just really annoying this week. I'm having to tell like the other people, my other partner who's working with me, like, hey, sorry, gotta dip out in the last like 5 minutes. It's like seems so silly that I'm there the whole workout and then I have to leave in the last 3 minutes. Like, but whatever. This week I don't have to. He gets out at regular time. But I just found out today that his teacher is sick. She's like in the hospital. So he went a whole week with one teacher. Yeah, he went a whole week with one teacher, and now tomorrow he has a different teacher. So Phoenix had 3 teachers.
What's wrong with his teacher?
She apparently has like some type of GI condition. Like I don't know if she has Crohn's disease or what, but she has like some bad GI tract like condition or whatever, and so she's in the hospital.
That's sad.
Like, I know, it's freaking sad for her and for me, because poor Phoenix has had 3 teachers.
I was going to say something about I was going to ask you something about. Well, yeah, I was going to say that I think one of the things that you were concerned about with your new schedule was that was Phoenix getting out of school so late that you don't have time to wind him down. But with his new schedule, you can for sure wind him down by 6 o'clock. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for
Instead
sure.
of getting home at 5:30, and now you have to haul butt to try to like, you can like slowly start the nighttime routine now, and like you have so much more time in your evening with the being getting out of school earlier. You know, and I know that kind of cuts your day shorter for like the things that you want to get done, but I think for you having to get up so early for workouts, it's a lot better of a schedule.
Yeah, and I think the thing that's going to be really nice is like, so I talked to Dana, who is the owner of you know who she is, but for everyone else that doesn't know, she's the owner of the F45 that I work at. And I've been telling her, like, I told her, you know, I was like, this schedule really works well for my life. Like teaching the 9 and the noon classes, every day and then works amazing because I was like, it's way better for my work-life balance. Like with Phoenix in school, I could go to the 6 a.m. workout, come home, take him to school, and then go to work and still get my workout in. Or what I was doing all last week was I was not getting up until, 7 o'clock in the morning, which is super late for me. So whatever. Some people that might be early, but that's sleeping in for me. And like even this morning, I woke up at like 6:30, and I was like, "We're going back to sleep until 7 because why am I getting up at 6:30 on a Sunday?" But I wake up at 7. I get to go to I just feel better. I can get up and we can go slowly through the morning and take Phoenix to school, and then I can go to work and then be done. And then now that he doesn't get out of school till 2:30, I could actually leave, go home, change out of my sweaty work clothes, maybe watch a show, eat something, and then casually walk over to the school and pick him up, Like it would work. It works out really well versus like me, what it would have been before would have been my day would have started at 3:30 a.m. and then by 3 p.m. I'm like dead. You know what I mean? So I'm like, I have told her, I was like, please, if I can just, I was like, I know you can't do it every single day, but if this is it, for one, it has to be easier for her because if I'm just like, cool, give me these classes right in the middle of the day, that's perfect because not everybody, nobody wants to teach the 9 and the noon classes.
Really?
Nobody. Because it's in the middle of their day. They're like, I don't want to teach that class. That sucks. I would rather get up early in the morning, be done with work by 8 a.m. And then also some people, so the people that normally work the morning only want to work in the morning. They don't want to work like, oh, I'm going to get at work early this day and then work at night, or I'm going to come in and teach the 12 o'clock class and then leave and then come back and teach the night class. And then other people are like, I don't want to teach the 4:30 and then leave and then come back and teach the noon. You know what I mean? So it's like, nobody wants to do that. So I was like, I'm totally fine doing the 9. It works out perfectly for me. I do the 9 o'clock class. I shoot the videos for Instagram for the studio. I do my workout. I teach the next class and then I go. Like it works perfectly for my schedule. So I was just like, please, if you can, let me keep this schedule. But yeah, anyways, okay, we've been babbling for a long time. We need to get into our topic because otherwise we'll end up talking about our week for the whole entire podcast. So, so I really wanted to talk about the Olympics because obviously we are going to be in the last week of the Olympics this week. To be honest, all the events I cared about happened last week. So swimming, which we got 11 medals in swimming, by the way, 11 gold medals in swimming. Yeah. I was like counting. I was like, holy crap, 11 gold medals to the U.S. in swimming. We ended up getting the silver for the U.S. team. We got gold and silver, or gold in the all around and silver in the vault. So, and those are all gymnastics events, by the way. And then, we ended up not medaling at all in the sprints because girl didn't go to the Olympics, I guess. So Jamaica took first, second, and third in all those sprints. So a lot of people are salty about that. But if you guys didn't know already, the girl whose name I would have to look up right now, but they weren't letting her go to the Olympics because she apparently failed a drug test by having weed in her system.
Yeah, I heard that.
Yeah, so that was just ridiculous. But what I really wanted to talk about was Simone Biles. So if you don't know who Simone Biles is, she's a highly decorated Olympian gymnast, and she is just, everyone's calling her the best in the world, the best of all time, this and that. She has multiple gold medals in events in the Olympics from the 2016 Olympics. So she's just amazing. She's just an amazing gymnast. She has 3 different moves named after her that other gymnasts have done like in practice, but have never actually done in a competition.
Some no female has ever done, some no male has ever done, but I think most of the ones are just no woman has ever been able to do some of the flips. Just because a lot of women just don't have the leg power and the strength to get that high up, like Simone does. So
yeah, and that, so okay, so we get to the Olympics, and I was getting I was nervous already, but I was like, she's Simone Biles, whatever. But I feel like there's a couple of things that's happened in her career that have been horrible. She was a part of that scandal where the U.S. coach had been molesting all of the athletes for God knows how long. And she came out and talked about her experience with that, and he ended up going to jail on, like, I don't know, 44 counts or something like that. It was ridiculous. So he ended up going, and she was one of the people that came out and talked about her experience in getting molested by her coach, and, inappropriate behavior and all of this stuff. So I think the goal of this conversation is just kind of have like a back and forth about like the mental health of like athletes. Yeah. I feel like we sacrifice their mental health and maybe their physical health.
Oh yeah. Speaking of that, like the physical health part. So remember the gymnast back in the day that did the vault and then broke her leg and then did the vault she was an American team.
Yeah.
I don't remember. Okay. So I saw, was that you that posted it? Twin, I'm pretty sure that was you.
I think it was me that posted it. Yeah.
Okay. So this goes along with the situation of just overall health. Simone Biles will be definitely our example of mental health because that's what she's focusing on. But this gymnast back in the day, if you guys have not seen it, she literally did a vault, broke her foot, and then went back, talked to her coach, and her coach was like, she was like, I don't think I can do it. I don't think I can do it. He's like, no, you can do it. And she was like, I don't think I can do it. And he basically told her, yeah, you can. And she did it. And come to find out, she didn't even need to do it to for them to win the gold. Like they were so far ahead that it wasn't even necessary for her to do it. It was just like kind of for, I guess, her own person, like it just been for her personal records and goals. I mean, and it's one of the most memorable moments in gymnastics history. So,
yeah.
But the issue is that even for me, when I've watched it, I've been like, oh my God, that's so crazy. Like what a boss. Like,
what a boss.
And even in Karate Kid, like 1 and 2, when he continues to fight after he hurts his leg, in those movies, the athlete, he chose to go forward. And I think a lot of athletes are kind of trained to be like, you push past whatever kind of pain. I mean, professional athletes, football players, Tony Romo's played with broken collarbones, broken fingers, broken toes. Like Tom Brady has also played with like we just found out that somebody played their whole season with an Achilles tendon pull. It's just all these different things. Yeah, you find out stuff. You're like, they were injured the entire season and no one knew, or they didn't tell anybody. And they have all these kind of ways now, secrets with athletes that they kind of just, give them a shot in the knee and like pat them on a butt and send them out or whatever to just keep, make sure that they can keep playing. And I think that it's important that even for me as a fan, I find myself being like, come on, please don't be hurt. Like, I really need you to play because I want you to play and I like watching the football. And, and it's less for me thinking about, man, like I really hope they're, I just really want them to be healthy. I want them to be okay, but not because I just care so much about them being okay. It's because I want to watch them play selfishly. I want to continue watching them play. Even with Simone Biles being out, I can absolutely understand because for the last 2 years, she has been the focus of she represented the country. It's one thing to like represent your team or your small town. She represented the country for the Olympics. If you knew anything about the Olympics, if you paid attention to the Olympics, you know who Simone Biles is. She's represented the Olympics for multiple years in a row. Since she was on the gymnastics team with Gabby, what was that now? 8 years ago, she has represented the country. And so it's kind of a crazy thing. And she worked an extra year, put her body through extra stress. Instead of
she
her
wasn't
taking
even going to go
this year.
No, she was not going to go to the 2020 Olympics. She changed her mind. She retired. She changed her mind because she was like, well, not doing anything during the pandemic. Might as well go to the 2021 Olympics.
Train. Right. Yeah. Might as well train. And she spent her time during the pandemic training. And instead of decompressing and relaxing like a lot of people did, she focused more and more and more and honed in harder and harder and harder on her craft. She won every other competition in the U.S. and she's already the most decorated, second to Gabby, female gymnast of all time. So she doesn't like it means nothing. There's nothing more that she could achieve by winning the Olympics this year for her own personal goals.
This is my thing.
Like,
She already did. She already has gold medals. She's already the best in the world. Like, where do you go from there besides training another
deals.
athlete?
She's
Huh?
she's got endorsement deals out the butt, so she's making money.
She's got like 3 million followers on Instagram.
She's dating an NFL football player. I'm pretty sure she's already graduated from college. She's 20. I'm not sure if she actually went to college or not. That's something to look up. But I
Yeah,
mean,
she's
she's just
22, I think. But yeah.
she's just kicking butt at life, and I think it's great. And she's made a lot of speeches. Apparently, Morgan, what's his name? He's that British guy that always says horrible, hateful things about people. Said crappy stuff about Meghan Markle, and then went for another black woman and went for freaking Simone Biles. But apparently she was getting a lot of people telling her that she quit and gave up on like, you quit on us and you gave up on the country and da. I'm like,
he's not even from our country.
no, he's not. So
He's
I was
not even
like,
from our country. Shut your mouth. Go over to to England and Britain where they didn't do crap in the Olympics and shut your mouth. Like, what are you talking about?
yeah, Piers Morgan, accused of racism following criticism of American gymnast Simone. He is
racist.
Piers Morgan. Simone Biles is not the only person. We're not about to make this podcast about this man, but he is not the only person. Simone Biles is not the first black woman that he has come for. He came for Meghan Markle. So I don't know what his problem is, but he needs to chill out, because I don't understand how you're going to come for a 20-something-year-old girl who is the best in the world at something because she decided that, hey, this sucks. And she said, so I was listening to, right before we started the podcast, I was listening to her talk about why it is that she chose to not compete. She was like, there are amazing women that are on this team. And she's like, by me not going, these girls that this is their first time and could be their only time, got to compete and medaled. Because I mean, it's a crappy way to say it, but she's like, because I wasn't there, they medaled. Like, they got
yeah.
so. She was like, I was not there. She's like, and I didn't need to be there. She's like, I just wanted to focus on my mental health, and it's just better for me to just. She's like, there's so much pressure, and it's weird because it did occur to me that I would not be able to handle that much pressure. Like,
no.
you literally, and she said it also, what was really, really hard too was nobody was there. So you're
weird.
in a foreign country and you feel like there's nobody there. There's no real support. There's no one cheering you on. You don't get the adrenaline rush. You don't get the excitement. I'm sure NFL and basketball players would probably agree with that, is that it is weird because being a professional athlete is a performance, and to not be able to perform in front of anybody, to not hear the cheers and the excitement after you do something amazing, and like, it doesn't help your mind. It doesn't help her.
It was weird. Even watching the Olympics, the commentators, they normally don't talk while they're doing their floor routine, but you can hear people, like, when they land something amazing, you usually hear like the audience erupts and they throw like the flowers and the stuffed animals and the stuff at you. You know what I mean? Like, that's what you go to the Olympics for. You know what I mean? The other thing I wanted to address too is that I have become like I was a fan of Shawn Johnson before, but I'm a huge fan of her now. If you don't know who she is, she's also a gold medal Olympian. She was part of that Fab Four U.S. team with Nastia Liukin, where they just demolished everybody at the U.S. Olympics, at the World Olympics, and for the U.S. team. And she quit after that. And she never went back. She went to the Olympics once and she was just like, I'm done. She went to college and she just gave birth to her second child. She married an NFL player. And she's just an awesome, awesome human being. And she and Nastia are really good friends. And Nastia was there doing commentation. I think Shawn was supposed to be there, but she was pregnant, so she couldn't fly internationally, obviously pregnant. So, but she has talked about her mental health when it comes to the Olympics. And she said that the mindset that she was in the Olympics, looking back on it, she's like, I started to hate it. It wasn't fun anymore. It took out the fun of the Olympics. She was like, and I didn't even think I was going to go. I just wanted to, she was like, when I qualified just to go to the Olympic trials, I was excited. And then to be like, oh, I actually made the team. And then the fact that she's like, then I medaled, it was like, that was all I wanted to do. And then she was like, so I did it. Now what? Now what do I do? Do I go back? what do I do? So she said like, just like, things that a lot of people know, but just like the way she was eating, she was working, she was not eating. And then she was training 6-7 hours a day, passing out on her way home, passing out in the studio or in the gym, walking off the floor and passing out. Multiple injuries that she's had, just not protecting her body, having this like, constantly competing in every, thing, every moment of her life type of mentality. And then, taking that into her pregnancy and her birth. She even says there's a video on Instagram or on YouTube of her giving birth to her first child. And she at one point has to, after 24 or 5 hours of laboring, she decides to get an epidural. And she says to her husband, like, I feel like I failed. Like, I'm an Olympian. I should be able to give birth without an epidural. You know what I mean? Like that kind of mentality.
I hope his response at that moment was, whatever you need, babe. And then I hope later when she's, not hormonal and giving birth, that he was just like, that was really sad. He thought that.
I hope he said that. That moment was like super sad for me. I was surprised they left it in. I was surprised they left it in because, YouTube, they can edit whatever out. But she said that, and my heart just broke for her. Because on the one hand, I understand that when you're an athlete, regardless, especially if you're an Olympian, like that's like the elite of the elite athletes, right? And you think that like something that you realistically your body, is meant to do. The reason she couldn't give birth to that child, by the way, because she's 4'11", her husband is 6'3", and the child was like 21 inches long and 8 pounds, 12 ounces or something. That's why she couldn't give birth, because it couldn't descend because her pelvis was too small. The second one, same thing, but this one was bigger, 9 pounds, 13 ounces.
Ooh.
Big kids. So she didn't even try with that one. She had to like try to, push the baby out. She had a cesarean. But when it came out, I mean, geez, it's almost as big as her. So, like, I just like, it's just so, but yeah, that was like a super sad moment. I remember like my heart just broke when she said that because I felt it so hard. Like, that's a true feeling. And her husband was like, I think he was caught off guard because he was like, no, babe, you're amazing. This is amazing. We're going to do what's safe for you and the baby. But in her mind, she's like, but I couldn't do it. Like I failed, and that's what I'm saying. That's what when we originally started talking about this, we were talking about mental health, and that definitely, that carried into her birth. Like the mentality, the toxic sort of mentality of like an athlete having to perform constantly at an elite level and then having the pressure of the country on your shoulders, the pressure of the fact that people will turn on you in 2 seconds. The same people who were cheering you on, saying you're the best of all time, are now turning around and saying that you're worthless because you couldn't you not just suck it up and da da da. You know what I mean? It's just
That's what that's especially like the Black community. That's kind of what it is when it comes to mental health, where it's like mental health is this thing that's like, there's nothing wrong with you because you can't see it on the outside. It's not a scar. It's not whatever. It's not, and even when you're an athlete, unless something's detached, they pretty much want you to continue. So, but it being in your mind, Michael Phelps is another Olympian that is really, really outspoken on mental health. He's a talk-based advocate. I wouldn't be surprised if Simone Biles joins that group of athletes that have been representing Talkspace. I wonder if that'll be her next endorsement. But I think that it's just really cool that she has taken this opportunity to shed some light, not only just for athletes, but for Black women. And to kind of leave it on a funny note, there's a article about the people roasting Piers Morgan, by the way, is his name, roasting him because of his horrible comments. So what he said was that his tweet was that it literally said Simone Biles calls herself the greatest of all time, but no GOAT would quit on their teammates like that, costing them an Olympic gold medal. Get back out there, Simone. You're a great athlete. You're a great champion, not a quitter.
First of all, she didn't call herself the GOAT.
People have been calling her the GOAT.
Yes.
The comments, my favorite one is, there's been some pretty good ones, but my favorite one is breaking. Piers Morgan says you've not experienced real pressure until you've spent years bullying Black women and ran away from a weatherman who confronted you on the matter. So that is because he was on a show and they asked him about some hateful comments he said about Meghan Markle, and he walked off the set.
What?
If bullying black women was an Olympic sport, Piers Morgan would win the gold medal. The tweets are pretty hilarious, but that is how people should respond to somebody who is just being hateful to somebody who's like, look, everybody has moments where their mind is tired and stressed out and things are overwhelming and we want to crawl in a hole and just cry. Everybody has those moments, and it's awesome to hear somebody share those, as somebody who obviously you have to be really mentally tough to even compete at the level that she competes. So the fact that she's, shedding some light on it, that other people will feel more comfortable, sharing a little bit of their struggle it's pretty cool, I think. So
yeah. All right, well, let's get into our Go Girl or No Girls. You got one this week, Twin?
I do. I had my first 90-day review, and it went really, really well.
Oh, yeah!
I've never had a 90-day employment review before. I've worked for companies that say at 90 days we'll evaluate your employment, and never once have they actually evaluated my employment. So I actually sat down and I had to fill out a personal review, and then my two supervisors filled out theirs, and it went really, really well. So I was excited about that. She set some goals for me, things to try to kind of focus on over the next quarter, and she said she was impressed with how much I've learned. She said she was surprised at how much I've learned because when she found out I had no experience in accounting at all except for budgeting my own household, she she was really worried. So I think she's very excited. So I'm really, really happy about that. I was pretty anxious about it. So yay!
Amazing.
Yeah.
Okay, well, mine is a big one. I trained some people for the first time under my own name. I feel like I finally come across a name for my program, and I think it's just going to be Ashley Louise Fitness. I think it's just where we're going with it because there's so many Ashleys. And I was thinking about Ashley Fitness, or I didn't even want to use my first name. I was like, we're not doing my name. But then I was like, there's probably no Ashley Louise Fitness. So that's what we're going to do. That's what we're going to call it. That is the tentative, not so tentative name. I haven't changed on Instagram or anything. So that's what we're going with. Anyways, so I posted on Instagram about a group class, and I got some of Phoenix's friends, moms, to come and do a class today. And it went amazing. If you want to see how it went, just go to the Instagram stories at A Dreamer's Heart, and you'll see the stories on there from the workout. But the ladies did amazing. They were really excited. They next time we're like, we want to do it next time, but we insist that we pay you next time. And I was like, awesome, I insist as well. So I think I told them $10 a person since it's a group class. And
$10.
Yeah. I'm fine with $10. It was free, so I'm happy with $10. What do you mean? If I have five, I know, okay, but one of the ladies said she was going to bring 2 or 3 of her friends. So at $10 an hour, that's $50. I've made $50 for an hour with 5 people coming. It's not that big of a deal. And then if it starts to grow bigger, and I start to have to add a class, or it becomes a lot more people, and I have to bring more equipment or set up longer or whatever, I will just raise it up by $5. Be like, hey, the program's starting to grow.
What you should do is you should keep a sign up and we will not talk about this on the podcast. I just had a whole bunch of ideas that I was going to start breaking down, but that's really exciting. Okay. I was so excited to hear about it.
Yeah, Derek was like, you did amazing, babe, great job. He was my cheerleader. So I wasn't really sure how it was going because halfway through they got really quiet and weren't really talking anymore. I feel like that might be a good sign. But since it was only the 3 of us, I was kind of still just trying to be all right, you got it, ladies, great job, this and that. And I don't think I didn't pick too hard of a workout. They were sweating, they were tired, so all good things. It got
what
hot.
Music did you use?
I subscribed to Fit Radio, so I just picked a cardio station and just played it.
Okay.
But yeah, so they loved it. They did a really good job. We were going to do it at 10, and I'm glad we didn't do it at 10 because it was already 80 degrees outside by 10.
So, oh, wow.
We were dying. When we got there, it was 66 degrees. When we were done, it was 76 degrees. So
Dang.
it was, and okay, if you live in Texas or you live somewhere where it's like 95, 100 degrees, fine. But for San Diego, that's freaking hot. So yeah. Anyway, well, thank you guys so much for listening. Feel free to, if you listen to this podcast and you live in San Diego, hit me up. I'd love to have you in the class. It's really fun. If you live in like the South Bay area, let me know. Hit me up on Instagram if you want to join the class. Other than that, follow us on all the social medias. We have the Twin Life Podcast one. All the links are in the show notes /description box. And we will chat with you guys next week. Bye.